A devastating day for the Indiana Pacers as they play Game 7 against the OKC Thunder, lose Tyrese Haliburton to injury in the first quarter, lose a halftime lead, and lose Game 7 of the NBA Finals. They are the runners-up this year. We'll break down the game, the injury, and a little bit of this season and postseason run for the Pacers with Derek Kramer on today's Locked On Pacers podcast.
You are Locked On Pacers, your daily Indiana Pacers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday, and welcome to another edition of the Locked On Pacers podcast, where we, of course, talk about the Indiana Pacers. As always, my name's Tony East. I cover the team for Forbes, and today I am still in the Paycom Center where people are on the court doing whatever they're doing, and the Pacers have lost Game 7 to the Oklahoma City Thunder, 103-91. Their offense sputters in the second half. Their star player goes down with a devastating injury in the first quarter, and what is just a sad, crushing night for the Indiana Pacers, who are so close to glory and yet have it all taken away from them in an instant. Derek Kramer, iPacersblog, joins us today. He's closed out every series with me this playoffs. He does so again today, and I'm glad he did because I came at this from my own usual perspective of covering this team. Derek was with the fan perspective, much more somber, a good therapy session. Join from him for all of you who want to hear it from that perspective. We talk about the game, Haliburton's injury, how Haliburton's injury bled into everything that happened in this entire game, and so much more. Let's just get right to it. As devastating as it possibly gets for the Pacers, they get to a Game 7 of the finals. They're winning at halftime. They're all juiced up. They blow it in the second half. Tyrese Haliburton goes down with a potentially career-altering injury. I will say potentially, even though I think we all suspect we know what it is. Heartbreak on the biggest stage detracts, and by detracts, I mean distracts, so much from the magical run. Derek Kramer from iPacersblog, the closer, not in such a good mood as the last three closes, is here to talk about a game that somehow the Pacers looked like their resilience might pull them through, and in the end, they come up just short on the biggest stage once again. There's so many places to start. Haliburton trying to cut to the basket with the ball from the same spot. It looked like his calf was hurting in Game 5. Their dismal third quarter, the turnovers once again being a problem. The magic of the season masked by what just happened. Where does your mind go after a game like this? Because to me, there's just an endless amount of clouding thought going on all at the same time.
There's only one thought. There's only one. Like I couldn't even, I don't know, like my header says dead inside. That's what I feel. It's the hardest night that I've ever had as a sports fan.
It is truly under that banner of fandom, about as painful of a night as there could possibly be because of both the injury and, of course, the results of the game. And the injury is actually where I will start, because I'm actually going to take what is apparently the unpopular take and stand up for Tyrese Haliburton and the Pacers here. It's a Game 7 of the finals. He should play. Like that is what you hope happens. You hope you have an opportunity to have that. Even if it's you think about the health of next season or the health of his career, maybe he's, and I think the favorite would be that he is not as good in the future, right? Okay, then even more chance that this is the best chance you have at a title with this core if he's not as good in the future, right? It's one game for the title. I think that with the odds that you can win one game, he should be playing, right? So I think that is actually the right choice, despite the fact that it obviously will have massive, unbelievable consequences, of which I will talk about when I preview the offseason in several days. This is not even close to the time for that. I actually think it was the right choice for him to play both of these games. He told Dustin Topirka, and we talked to him before Game 6 at his locker, that he knew the risks. He talked to people about them. He knew them. He wanted to play. He played great in Game 6. And I think a lot of the thinking about that being the wrong choice is just solely based on the fact that he actually got hurt. Like the bias is implicitly built in that this would have happened no matter what because it happened. And of course it's bad. It happened to Kevin Durant. It happened to Damian Lillard. That doesn't mean it's going to happen to everyone. Regardless of my own opinions on this, it obviously sucks for the Pacers and it's terrible. That also led to them losing. They were winning at halftime, but every player we talked to after the game, they were, of course, crushed because they lost. Undeniable fact. They were also crushed because you just lose your focus. Like I talked so much about how this game would be about mentality, right? More so than the X's and O's, because you never know how guys are going to feel going into it, how the moment's going to make guys rise or shrink. And then before the first quarter is over, there's this major franchise-altering event that happens that nobody can stop thinking about it. Right? I asked Obi Toppin, excuse me, about the injury after the game. I'm sorry, Derek, I'm already just rambling forever. This is a very classic podcast. He said about the Haliburton injury, he said, I felt like that was my fault. Passed the ball to him, and then he paused for forever, which said more than anything he could say. And then he said, as soon as he went down, that bleep hurt. I ain't going to lie. I was thinking about that the whole game. He earlier, before that, said he felt like it was his fault because he played the worst game he played of the series. And I can't imagine those are not connected events, that he was distracted and played poorly. So I would like to give, first of all, the Pacers a ton of credit for being winning by halftime with the resources available. Once the Thunder's style took grip of the game, it was just kind of over. But they fought really hard, but it just became an insurmountable task of X's and O's perfection being required at the same time as overcoming just an impossible mental reality on the biggest stage possible.
Yeah, and I don't blame Haliburton for playing. I don't blame the training staff for telling him all the risks and giving him the choice. It's his career at the end of the day. And he looked good. I think that's the saddest part.
He still, as of us, the game is over. He led the game in threes made, right? He looked great, right?
Yeah. He was talking to somebody in the crowd, somebody on Blue Sky tweeted me before the game that somebody's talking trash to Haliburton. It felt like it was Game 7 in the Garden again. Yeah, he got hot at the beginning of the game. It looked like he wasn't going to let this team lose. And that just makes everything that much more frustrating and just devastating.
It really does. So I would like to talk about the basketball reason they lost this game first. The third quarter was just terrible. I mean, they just imploded. And the reasons why were the same reasons that everybody talked about the whole series. In a 12-point loss, they lose the third quarter by 14. You can do the math about the rest of the game and how much the Pacers won or lost it by. They were tied at 56 with 8 minutes and 32 seconds to go in that quarter, and then down 13 by the end of it. They just completely fell apart. What'd you say?
Myles hit a 3 to tie it, and then they hit
Myles hit a 3 to tie it. You know, the next time after that Myles Turner 3 that anyone not named TJ McConnell scored, it was when Pascal Siakam hit an elbow jumper with about 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. No one could make a thing. They were so disconnected. They were feeling these traps from OKC that trying to force the turnovers. And I'll give the Pacers credit. They were trying to do it right. They would run towards the player with the ball, but the passes were off. The execution was off. They were letting the pressure get to them. They weren't playing enough side to side with their pace. And I talked about this in the pregame episode with Adam. The team that plays more like themselves is going to be the team that looks better. And that was the Thunder, so much so in that quarter that the rest of the game where the Pacers played well enough, right? Again, they won the rest of the game by 2 points. Didn't matter at all. They were that bad in that stretch. And the stat is true and accurate that TJ McConnell scored every point they had in that run. It was 12 or 14 or something, actually impressive scoring. But even he was not good. He turned it over a gazillion times. And a lot of those were on those traps I was talking about. But some of those were just inexplicable. What are you doing? Plays as he drove to the basket or dribbled it off his knee or whatever. They just imploded. And that is really two things. That is, one, a basketball failure. And two, the mentality creeping in. The second the Thunder went on that 3-steal, 3-steal, 3 run where they went up 9, it felt like the Pacers were just never able to fully get their lick back for the rest of the game. Whether that was a mental thing or a basketball thing, I don't know. What did you make of that quarter? Because obviously not having Haliburton was a big part of it, but they never could play like themselves in that frame.
Credit to TJ for doing everything he could. Yeah, he had some turnovers, but he gave it his all out there. Pascal was absent for a lot of that stretch. It's hard to, I don't know what he played, 37 minutes or something. I don't know. We've seen what Pascal looks like when he gets tired. Trying to save him, but
it's not as good.
It's Game 7 of the finals. Probably needed him out there more often.
And the other problem is every other front court player was bad today as well.
Yeah, it was not a great night for anybody. In the front court outside of Pascal, even he didn't seem like he had the best of games. You could tell his effort was all the way there. But yeah, the third quarter was clearly where they lost the rope a little bit, as they say. Too many turnovers, too many moments where they just kind of let the ball get away from them. Like, that was the difference in the game. I don't know what the final tally of it ended up being, but at one point in that third quarter run, I know it was 20 points off of turnovers for the Thunder, only 5 for the Pacers. And like, that's where they run away with the game. And the previous one was flipping that script for once and doing what they did. The Thunder were much more prepared for finding who was going to be open on those shade double teams. Like, he hit those a lot, especially in the first half. That's why he had so many assists. But yeah, it didn't work out.
3 games with 20-plus turnovers for the Pacers this series. They won the first one because they were able to save those plays with good transition defense. But then in games 5 and 7, they just could not at all mask that problem. This is what the Thunder do. They're going to turn you over a million times. That's why the Pacers looked so good when they were at 15 or fewer turnovers in the series per shot. Like, every game or most games of the series, they were about as good as the Thunder. They had a better shooting percentage in this game. They shot 12% better from 3 in this game. They made more the same number of free throws in this game, but you make 6 less shots and are even on threes. You know, you're just kind of toast, right? And that's because they just give up so many extra chances throughout these games against the Thunder. We know this. We've talked about this exact thing 10 trillion times in the series. It's just how they play. Everyone, short breaks. We can talk about OLIPOP, a new kind of soda made for people who love the classic taste of soda but want something that supports their health with just 2 to 5 grams of sugar and 9 grams of prebiotic fiber in every can. OLIPOP is reimagining soda in a way that's better for your gut. Traditional sodas, they're loaded with sugar, like 39 grams in a regular Coke or 44 grams in Orange Fanta. OLIPOP flips that script with just a fraction of the sugar, no artificial sweeteners, and gut-friendly ingredients like OliSmart, a blend shown to support digestive and overall health. It's soda that tastes like the real thing but actually does something good for your body. What flavor are you going to try first? My favorite, the crisp apple. I love the orange vanilla. Also the cherry cola. Very good. There's so many good ones. And if you crack open a soda that supports your gut health, you'll feel better. Their prebiotic blend is a great reason to swap out regular soda and help cut back on sugar while getting those nostalgic flavors that you love. Try it yourself. Get a free can of OLIPOP just by buying any 2 cans at the store. They'll reimburse you for 1. Head to drinkolipop.com/LockedOnNBA to claim your free can and find OLIPOP near you. That's drinkolipop.com/LockedOnNBA. This ties back to the thing from this game, which is the best high volume creator who doesn't turn it over in the league is on the Pacers. His name is Tyrese Haliburton, and he was exceptional many times in the series. At that, his scoring was not exceptional in the series, but still his steady ball handling and lack of turnovers was mostly there, including a brilliant game 6. And they were winning in the portion of the game that he was playing, and he was providing that kind of value and moving the ball. And yeah, he didn't end up having an assist in this game, but he clearly had a high offensive impact. And I think they would have been able to, obviously, in the third quarter, Mathurin starts the second half instead. They would have been more equipped to not be that level of team in turnovers if they had Tyrese Haliburton. So, I mean, it all is connected, right? The reasons they fell flat on their face were both mental and execution. But it's all related to the same thing, and that is their star player going down. And that's what makes this just like so hard to talk about, right? Like, they were still winning. Like, they were clearly, if they had him, talented enough to do this. And that just makes it, like, for all of them, so hard to think about forever. Like, such a magical run ending like that is like almost, it's not unfair, but it's just, it's hard to fathom. It's terrible.
It's unfair. You can say that. I mean, life's not fair, but I mean, they had 3 Achilles tears in one season, like total. Like, that doesn't
full circle book ending, right? 4 minutes into the season and for whatever,
love full circle moments. The basketball gods.
Derek. I think you're lying.
The basketball gods are not real. They don't exist.
I am a basketball gods believer, but they've had a cruel couple weeks. Ever since the lottery, I've been very flummoxed by their behavior.
If you want to take a positive out of the basketball gods not existing, all those comebacks that the Pacers made are that much more impressive. We can say that, but
they're really wrong.
No, if they're real, they're very cruel. I'll put it that way.
They are.
But you look at the box score, just to add more to it. Like, Shea was 8 for 27. Jalen Williams was 7 for 20. Like the Thunder shot 40%. They just had a lot more shot attempts. Like it was all right there for them. Like they could have done this, but it's just an impossible task to ask them to do it when that happens with 5 minutes left in the first quarter.
I would have to double check, but I'm nearly certain off the top of my head that 103 is the lowest winning number by a team in the series in terms of total score. And like the Pacers can do that. They scored 108 and played not that great on offense in game 6 of this series, right? Again, I think everybody will take to their grave or feel pretty confident that Tyrese Haliburton's impact alone would have been worth some amount, if not all of those 12 points, if he was able to play even at the amount that he played in game 6, not even if he was fully healthy. And obviously he wasn't, and he got hurt last playoffs, and it's a part of his existence now as a player, and will be next year almost certainly too. You watched the broadcast. Lisa Salters did say that someone from Haliburton's family told her it was an Achilles injury. Is that correct?
Yeah, John Haliburton.
Oh, she said it was John specifically?
Yep.
I saw that someone tweeted that. I did not hear. I obviously didn't watch the broadcast. So obviously that would suggest the worst. And I posted a video if you want to see it, but I watched him walk out on crutches with a boot on the foot. Like this would be, if it is, the third Achilles tear I've seen this season. Like I know the signs. I saw that dude slapping the floor straight out from here.
This was the most obvious.
Yeah.
By far. Yeah. Like I couldn't handle my emotions, which is one of a few reasons why I didn't make the trip for game 7. Because I was like, I just want to be able to like let myself feel whatever's going to happen in game 7, not have to put on the media face and tone down anything. It's a good thing I was not there because
and nobody really could, right? Like Shea came out and taps him, and TJ McConnell was about to check in. It might have been for all these companies that are happy that their season is over and they're done working are very happy on the court. I'm sorry if you can all hear yelling and clapping. TJ McConnell's about to check in. Like he immediately, his arms go out. He's carrying the towel out, and the team surrounded him like instantly, right? Like there was a clear emotional drain right away. But I actually think in the instant moment that it affected both teams. Like the Thunder looked kind of shook too for a little part of that, and the Pacers did a great job to keep up, and they made half their threes in the first half and like played well enough that I thought, wow, like not could they really do this? This would be so stunning. Like I've seen them pull off miraculous wins, and they clearly have the talent to keep up, but eventually that wore off. But I think it affected both teams at first, and the Thunder kind of settled in for a while. And for the Pacers, that's just impossible. And I think that I would assume that they saw Ty at halftime and they saw him in the tunnels, and like reality just sets in a different way for one team than the other. It just seeped into the whole game. I keep talking about the same things, like the third quarter and that one injury were basically the whole game. Like the rest of the game and that first 7 minutes were impressive.
Yeah, everything comes back to the injury. Like that's the thing that matters here in the end. Like,
can you hear the screaming?
We can hear it a little bit.
I like the weed.
Yes. Well, the listener.
You and the listener. I apologize. There have been who's and ha's going on the whole time I'm here.
Yeah. So it all comes down to the injury. Like that's the only thing on anybody's mind. The Pacers tried their best. Like you got to give credit to this team. They were resilient until the very end. They did everything they could. Bennedict Mathurin was, even with 19 seconds left and they were down double digits, he was still going for steals, trying to get something going. Just rough.
If I had to assign some positives to a game, like had this been close or had there's not been injuries, Adrian Emhart's defense was just amazing. I mean, what a series from him. What a playoffs from him outside of being taken off of Brunson. And even then in game 6, getting put back onto him and having a wonderful game. Ben Mathurin stunk to start the game, but I think when he realized what was needed of him a little bit more, and the Pacers also realized they needed to tweak the way they were playing to make him be that player. He was sensational. He was the only guy all series who could every single time get into paint. That didn't always lead to the best plays, but in this game it did. 13 rebounds, 7 of them on offense, and 24 points. He got them out of it. Obviously, scoring exclusively. TJ McConnell was just brilliant for the 4th game in a row. Like, people kept joking he should win Finals MVP. I don't think that was true. I think it should have been Siakam had the Pacers won, but he obviously had a just absurd run where that isolation scoring from last year and last playoffs returned. Like, all that matters, and all that was impressive reasons why the Pacers were able to hang around to be close in this game for so long, right? They got good enough play from those guys. And obviously when Haliburton did play, he was magnificent as a shooter and looked confident and ready to go. And Siakam did a bunch of the leadery stuff and got to the line, and his defense was good. But Neesmith, who we've seen be awesome in a game 7 before, was off. Siakam goes 5 for 13. Just a brutal finals for Myles Turner. His defense was better than people gave it credit for, but couldn't make anything. Ben Shepherd you didn't feel him at all tonight. Tony Bradley only played 5 minutes. Obi Toppin admitted that it was his worst game of the series. I agree. They needed half of those guys to be good to keep up with those first 3 I mentioned, because they got good enough play from some ball handlers, but the connective pieces, the front court guys, just not even close to enough from that crew. And that stings. They're all gonna have to live with that all summer.
Yep.
Did I miss any good things? Do you even care about good things?
I'm the worst podcast partner today.
You're not. I'm going to do this in the 90-second intro, and I'm done with you, and I have to record it. I'm going to say, well, you get the fan perspective from Derek and me trying to yap as much as I can over it to try to give you guys perspective. It's going to be perfect.
To stop me from crying for the 1200th time since 30 p.m. Lots of them today. Lots of them. Brutal stuff. I don't know. I know this isn't the off-season preview, but now that's all I'm thinking about. But I won't talk about that right now.
I will not be doing that today or tomorrow. I'll be starting that on Wednesday on draft day. Sorry, you don't get to hear about Tony East's thoughts on that, mostly because I have to reconsider everything I thought about their offseason, which is also a big part of this. It does, but I don't think I'm gonna once again take the contrarian again, like I did at the beginning with Ty playing. I will also take the contrarian and say I don't think it changes nearly as much as people are saying. I think people are really overstating that. That's where I will start, but I will go into much more detail on that on Wednesday, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. When we'll break here, guys, we can talk about Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it is easy to lose track. That is where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is not just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing money and start building wealth. So many surprising insights can be offered, so you can realize how much you're spending on certain things like food delivery, so you can budget smarter and save more. You don't have to juggle multiple apps. Monarch Money can check your finances, track your spending, and even plan long-term goals. And you can even do that with a partner. It's smooth. It's easy. You can track personal and shared accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page with no stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKDOWNNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKDOWNNBA for half off of your first year. Look, no one wants to do this right now. I don't even think you want to do this right now. You've had your head in your hands for the last 19 minutes, but what a run, man. I mean, up to today, you were at game 1 here. You were at game 5 against the Bucks. Obviously, the Knicks series and the Cavs series in between. From 9-14 to be in this game, to even set themselves up for a chance to make people feel the way you feel today is only possible because of one of the most, I don't even know what the right word is, unforeseen, improbable, nearly immortal runs that this NBA has ever seen, with so many high highs that I hope people don't forget, because the reason that this hurts so bad, right? A theme that many players talked about as they were talking about their emotions post-game was it sucks more than they thought, right? They knew it would hurt if they lost, but it hurts more than they thought that it actually happened. The reason that feeling exists and is possible is because the high highs are over, right? It's both obviously a loss, they didn't win their ultimate goal of a championship, but also they can't get the euphoria is gone. The belief is gone. And that only existed because of one of the greatest, craziest, most ridiculous team spirit and resolve and resilience level runs that the NBA has ever seen. And I hope people can remember that in a moment like this, because again, to keep making you be the boogeyman here. That's why you feel the way you feel. That's why everybody feels the way they feel. And I hope that the what a season part of this is not lost, even though tonight, no one on the Pacers, no one in your shoes, nobody feels that way in the immediate.
I think there's a lot of people that recognize how special this run is. I don't think there's any team that's ever had this collection of amazing moments in the same postseason ever.
Dude, this is a good career run for a player.
Right. Tyrese Haliburton had as many iconic moments as like 99.99% of players ever. And he did it in a couple months and one postseason run in every single round of the NBA playoffs. And yeah, that's part of why this hurts so much, because now we probably aren't going to get to watch him play for like a year and a half. But yeah,
we'll get to that later, sir. You were jumping the gun.
I don't have later. I'm already dead. So there is no later.
Speaking. I'm gonna like hire a voice actor and send him your script to like say it.
Oh my God. I'm so numb inside. There's nothing there.
How long do you think? I mean, how long do you think it would take the players or you or anyone to change that feeling? Because
great question.
That's next. A day, a week, watching Furphy in Summer League.
That's not going to do it. All respect to Johnny Furphy. This one's going to be there for a long time. I don't know how long. Like, this is worse than Granger being hurt and being unable to contribute to those teams. It's worse than Victor Oladipo rupturing his quad. It's worse than Paul George breaking his leg. Like, that happens in the off season. Like, it's worse than TJ Warren never playing again after he was like amazing in the bubble. Like, there's nothing worse than this. I don't know how long it's going to take. It's going to take a while.
It is just as brutal as it gets from a human perspective that it happens at that time. I mean, and it just like sitting where I am and having the view I have of the Pacers coming towards me in the first half and being able to hear the slap of him hitting the court like hard. It just like that is a human crushing experience.
Yeah. You want to guess how many times they showed that on the broadcast?
I kept seeing a lot of posts and zeets or tweets or whatever about them showing it over and over and them saying, if you're just tuning in, like people aren't aware of what's happening when they tune in.
Ooh.
That didn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. Thanks, ESPN, for another great moment there.
Yeah. I don't know if they had a banner series. So they have to pick up the pieces as a team, and a lot of teams that have made it to this point and fallen short have had a tough time the next year getting through that, but teams have been back. The Celtics won a championship last year after losing in the finals 2 years before that, right? It's obviously going to be different for the Pacers given their current reality, but I would close with a long monologue if you weren't the saddest person right now, but I just think that the emotions of tonight exist and are possible and have people feeling the way they feel because of the rip away ending of what happened, right? Like if it wasn't such a run, if they had scraped through the first couple rounds or lost to the Cavs or anything like that, like it wouldn't feel like that, but that's not what happened. They made people feel, and a lot of people feel like as high as they've ever felt, right? And deservedly, because they played so amazing and so well for all this time and had the craziest 4 games I've ever been at in my life in a month and a half and won 3 finals games and were ahead in the NBA finals for the first time in franchise history. And so many things that people can now say that they've experienced. And those are highs. And I shared a lot of moments with lots of people because of them who don't usually care about the Pacers and wanted to talk to me about it. Like, I know how people felt. I could tell. And now I know how people feel too, because I could see it when I went into the Pacers locker room. It's just such a massive juxtaposition of the highest possible high of emotion and all these people feeling this way about a team being so close to the first NBA championship in franchise history, to just have it all taken away in the most devastating possible way. And they didn't walk into this game and fall down by 10 in the first quarter and then lose by 25 and it fell over quick. And it's like, well, that stinks. Or they didn't lose by 5 and they were fighting and showed who they were, all this stuff that would have made people feel so much better in a loss. Instead, it was the most demoralizing, devastating thing possible right after a month and a half of like NBA fandom euphoria, right? Like that is just I can't remember a time that's happened to a basketball team. I guess the Celtics right now are the closest thing you could think of, but even they had it happen in a series that they were behind and they had already won the championship. Like the euphoria was over.
The Celtics have what, the most championships in history or second to the Lakers? Like, they're fine. they'll be fine. Jason Tatum, yeah, that sucks, but yeah, you just won a title. Like, I don't want to hear it.
What did we learn about wearing number 0? Lots of Achilles injuries in this playoffs. I found that to be quite the coincidence, but I think that's why this feels this way. And I think one day everybody will. I don't know if they cancel each other out. I can't speak for fans, obviously, but I think one day people will remember the month and a half to 2 month euphoria more so than they remember the one just absolutely devastating, crushing night of 3 hours of hell and horrible sadness, because one lasted for longer and people think more fondly of their happy emotions than their sad ones, even though this is obviously about as crushing of a sports fandom experience as there is at the end of a hell of a season for the Pacers.
It's my favorite season ever as a Pacers fan, easily. There's nothing that comes close. Like, this was just an incredible group. Like, I love this whole team. Super fun to watch. Just an incredible collection of guys. Awesome people from everybody that talks about it in that way. Man, it's just really hard that this is how it has to end, because it was truly incredible.
Agreed. I don't know what else to say. A just devastating night for the Pacers. They lose 3-4 in the finals to a very good, deserving champion, to be clear, Thunder team. They were incredible, but quite the stroke of fortune for OKC that Tyrese Haliburton goes down on the stage when the Pacers were playing quite well to start this game and had many, many moments of brilliance in a wonderful series. And I hope that their season can be remembered fondly. Tomorrow, it'll be just me talking about the finals, wrapping up what the Pacers can learn from this experience, and then my hearty thank yous. Derek, I picked you as the closer this year after it was Rhett last year. I'm glad you got to have 3 exciting closers, and you got to be on call for moment after moment after moment. So I hope that those 7 podcasts make up for the fact that that you're avoiding crying by talking to me for almost 30 minutes.
I'm going down on the Locked On guest rankings, like by the word that's coming out of my mouth.
No, I actually think it's good to have someone here who can represent how people are feeling, because I cannot. Right? I can't do that.
Yeah, I needed you to be my therapist while I cried out a little bit.
I'm glad that you were here to do it.
You're the objective listener. I'm the.
As Brian Flanagan says in Cocktail, Jesus, everything ends badly. Otherwise, it wouldn't end. And that's where it ends for the Pacers. Almost one of the most magical runs in sports history. Instead, they lose in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. We'll break down the finals in more detail tomorrow. Derek, I don't know if you'll be writing about this game or if you'll be burying it in the never think about it part of your brain ever again. But where can people find you and the things you have written during this playoff run about the Pacers?
Yeah, I've written a lot of things. A lot of people have jumped in with the party too. Dylan Hughes, Ben Gibson, Kyle Taylor, Kami. Lots of people have joined in on iPacers. Usually I'm just a one-person show, but I've had 5 people write during this playoff run. It's been a fantastic experience. Thank you, anybody who's clicked a link, read something that I've written, listened on one of these podcasts, bought a T-shirt, made a lot of T-shirts during this during this incredible run.
Think about fresh as a daisy, Derek. Maybe that will make your smile reappear. Everybody, you can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Tony Arias. This podcast is at Locked On Pacers on Twitter and Instagram. I'll be back tomorrow talking NBA Finals, assuming my flights get me home in a reasonable hour. Thank you all so much for listening this year and all these post games of the playoffs. We'll see you very soon.